leg. I lasted about 5 minutes out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Wednesday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us. A Wednesday that finds the Jaguars back at the Miller Electric Center, beginning preparations for a trip to the desert to take on the Arizona Cardinals. I was down inside the Jaguar locker room earlier today. Went one-on-one with a lot of guys, including Ezra Cleveland and B.J. Green. And you will hear those two conversations later on here in the 8 o'clock hour tonight on Hacker After Dark after a dominating performance on both lines of scrimmage, both the offensive line and the defensive line, absolutely imposing their will on the Los Angeles Chargers. Can the Jaguars keep it up? As we've talked about all week, the Jaguars play very well when they are faced with some major adversity. You think about that loss to Cincinnati, coming back here, beating Houston. You think of getting blown out at Wembley Stadium in London against the Rams, coming back after that and beating Las Vegas. And then, of course, the fourth quarter collapse in Houston, coming back from that, playing their most complete game last week against L.A. Now, as we've talked about, that's adversity. Can they respond to having success? That has been an issue, and they will have to do that when they go play the lowly Arizona Cardinals, a Cardinal team that has lost 7 out of their last 8 games. So we'll do a ton on Jacksonville and Arizona tonight. Again, my Jaguar locker room one-on-ones with B.J. Green and Ezra Cleveland coming up later on in the program. Also, former Jaguar offensive tackle Leon Searcy joins us in the 9 o'clock hour. And we will get back into the Lane Kiffin situation. I told you last night, the longer this goes, the better I actually thought it was for Ole Miss. But my caveat to that was, talk to me again in 24 hours. Well, here we are, 24 hours after my thoughts from last night. And I don't know if you listened to that teleconference that Lane Kiffin gave, all the SEC coaches give him, but he's getting peppered left and right with questions about his future, and he's just shrugging them off like nobody's business, not giving real answers to anything, not saying anything definite about his future. Again, if he's going to stay at Ole Miss, he has been given every opportunity to say it. He has not. What do we often say about people? When people show you who they are, believe them. Well, Lane Kiffin has shown in the last week, certainly, if not longer than that he's not saying anything about coaching Ole Miss in 2026. He has not said a word about that. At what point do we need to start believing him? So we'll talk about that. Matt Hayes, you hear him on Prime Time. He's obviously a terrific college football columnist for the USA Today. Matt joins us at the bottom of the 8 o'clock hour. And we're getting to that point of the year again, the most important day here on the radio station. It will be the Tom Coughlin J Fun Radiothon, Wednesday, December the 3rd. That is 2 weeks from today. We are going to be joined by a family that has benefited from the Tom Coughlin J Fund that helps families here in the Northeast Florida area with children battling cancer, help those families with money, support. I mean, it is the most important day on this station every single year. The work that is done, the funds that are donated to help families in our area. And we'll talk about the J Fund Radiothon with a family that has benefited from the Tom Coughlin J Fund. That comes up later on here in the 8 o'clock hour. Jacksonville, we're glad you're with us. We're here till 10 o'clock, as always, on Hacker After Dark. Every night on HAD, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night and Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal.
It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
So down in the Jaguar locker room earlier today, much different feeling than I had last week, which might be a good thing or a bad thing. I sat here last Wednesday and told you that I just didn't have a good vibe down there. It wasn't as quiet or wasn't as loud. It was much more subdued after the comeback, the collapse to Houston. I didn't like the vibe in there. I was wrong, right? The vibe was obviously great. They go to LA and LA comes here and they beat the brakes off of the Los Angeles Chargers. Clearly, not even close, the Jaguars' best game of the year here in 2025. So being back in the locker room today, what I got a sense was, and we'll talk with BJ Green about this, we'll talk with Ezra Cleveland about this. I asked them about their coach, saying the team plays better when they're, quote, pissed off. You'll hear their thoughts on that. But I also got the sense, not only from those two guys, but from a majority of guys I spoke with in the locker room today, there is once again a confidence about this football team. Look, your confidence can get shattered pretty quickly in the National Football League, particularly when you're up 29-10 in the fourth quarter to a division rival and you find a way to blow that game and lose that game. And last week you had to do a lot of soul searching, which I'm sure is what the Jacksonville Jaguars did after that happened to them in Houston, Texas. Then they come home. They play a good LA Charger team, an LA Charger team that came in here at 7-3. And it was the best game the Jaguars have played in probably 2+ years. You probably have to go back to somewhere in 2023, that 8-3 start in 2023, to find a more complete game, start to finish, that Jacksonville has played than the one they did on Sunday. Clearly their best game of this season, their best game since Liam Cohen took over as the head coach of this football team. Now here's the question, all right? We've been here. We've been here quite a few times, as a matter of fact. You beat Carolina on opening day. A lot of momentum. You play pretty well in Cincinnati. You're right in the game. You're leading the game 3 quarters in. And you blow it in the fourth quarter to Jake Browning. Devastating loss. Then you come back from that and you dominate Houston. And then you go to San Francisco and you win. You go to Kansas City comes here and you win. You're 4-1. And things are great. You're the talk of the league after Monday Night Football. You kind of lay an egg against Seattle, and then you get absolutely obliterated at Wembley Stadium against the Rams. Again, didn't handle success very well. You have to deal with that through the bye week. You come back, you play the Las Vegas Raiders, clearly not your best game. Brock Bowers goes nuts on you. But Devon Hamilton got that big paw up to deflect that pass. You find a way to win. All right, 5-3. Here we go. We can bury the Texans with a win. And you absolutely blow that game in the fourth quarter. 5-4. We were in the doldrums last week, man. It was bad around here. I don't think I ever got over that loss. I'm probably sure you didn't either, but the guys in that locker room certainly did. What a response in beating the Chargers. I would like, though, for the next couple of weeks to not have this seesaw effect. The Jaguars have had quite a bit of a seesaw effect in recent weeks. Highest of highs in beating Kansas City on Monday Night Football. Low in what happened at Wembley Stadium against the Rams. Back to a high. Devon Hamilton saves the day in Las Vegas. Back down, crashing to earth to a low in the fourth quarter collapse in Houston. And now the highest of highs in 2025, a 35-6 demolishing of the Chargers. If that pattern repeats itself, we're due for a low on Sunday in the desert against the Arizona Cardinals. Once again, you're playing a backup quarterback. What happened when you played Jake Browning? What happened when you played Davis Mills? Jacoby Brissett is probably better than both of those guys. You're playing a Cardinal team that has lost 7 out of 8. You're playing a Cardinal team whose coach is absolutely on the hot seat. Jaguars should go out there and take care of business. Just like they should have gone to Houston and won. Just like they should have beat Jake Browning in Cincinnati. But games they should have won, they haven't won. Games where they were underdogs, they've won. It's been crazy this year. How about one time you take care of business when you're supposed to? You're a favorite on the road against a team that's lost 7 out of 8, a team that is limping into this game without their best playmaker at wide receiver. Marvin Harrison Jr. has already been ruled out. Golden opportunity for Jacksonville. Golden opportunity to go out to Arizona, get a win, get to 7-4. Just like it was a golden opportunity in Houston that you squandered. Just like it was a golden opportunity in Cincinnati that you squandered. Don't squander this one. You're better than Arizona. They're wounded. Go take advantage of it and come back with a W. Huge game for the Jaguars on Sunday to stay alive in the AFC South and remain to control their own destiny in the AFC wildcard. Of course, you'll hear it right here on 1010XL, 4 o'clock on Sunday. 2 hours after that game goes final, myself, the coach Gerald Ingram, and the Pro Bowler Leon Searcy will have the 5th quarter for you. We'll go down to the Jaguar locker room later on, talk with Ezra Cleveland and BJ Green. Also, Matt Hayes, XL Primetime, and the USA Today will join us to talk. Lane Kiffin to talk about this Florida coaching search. What about Ole Miss? What about LSU? The soap opera that this has become. Matt joins me at the bottom of the 8 o'clock hour. We're glad you're with us. Wednesday night, Jacksonville, Florida, with you till 10 o'clock right here on Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
The tape doesn't lie, and neither does he. Jeff Lockeman breaks down the film and shares his insights with you Tuesdays during football season on Jaguars Today. Check the Tape Tuesday. Checked by Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken 180 weight loss. Hacker here for the best weight loss program I've ever been on. I'm in the maintenance program now. Actually, just had a meeting with my coach, Coach Kate, earlier this week. Checked in with her. Still doing good. Still keeping the weight off, which I love these monthly conversations, even in the maintenance program. Now, when I was on the plan, I was meeting with her every week. But Awaken 180, they don't abandon you after you hit your weight loss goal. They don't say, all right, so smell you later. Not at all. Awaken 180 stays with you through the process, which is what I absolutely love. Still get the guidance I need. Still get the reassurance I need. The coaching from Awaken 180 is second to none among all the weight loss programs out there. If it's time for you to drop the weight like it was for me, do yourself a favor and go to awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com, or call 844-346-1800 for Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Truth Teller here, and I've solved all of your holiday problems and stress. A gift card from the Blue Crab Crab House. Get this, you buy a $50 gift card, and you get an additional $15 card for free. It's that simple, and as always at the Blue Crab Crab House, the best crabs in Jacksonville, oysters and seafood, period. Blue Crab Crab House, open every day except for Monday, off of San Jose on Jewington Creek Road.
If you've been in a big truck accident, you need a lawyer that specializes in big trucks. A lawyer who knows all the federal traffic rules that can affect your case.
And who can navigate the complex web of laws dealing with the trucking company, the leasing company, the shipper, and all the other details that can complicate your case.
At Farah & Farah, we've seen it all, and we're ready to go the long haul to fight for you. Jacksonville.
Former Jags middle linebacker Tom McManus brings some grit to the ladies of helmets and heels.
You do it as tough as it is possible to do.
Tommy, Lauren, and Taylor.
Backed by Green Law Group. Afternoons 2 to 4 on 1010XL.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, Director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by May 14th.
1010XL is your home for Florida Gators football. Protected by the law firm of Farah and Farah, Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville, and Renewal by Anderson, custom windows and doors. Follow every Gators game on 1010XL.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Pickett here with a game winner. It's Checkmate Coatings. I've scouted them all. And this Jacksonville crew's the real deal.
I'm Brendan, owner of Checkmate Coatings. We transform pool decks, driveways, and patios with pro precision.
Score big at checkmatecoatings.com. Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. When mice and rats show up in your home or business, they can be a real pain. You need them out fast, before they have time to multiply. Terminix knows how to shut down rodents and will keep them from coming back to wreak more havoc. When rodents show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with a rodent problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online just like I did. That's TERMINIX.com. TERMINIX.com.
It's happening. The event people wait for all year, Beards Diamonds Anniversary Sale. Pickett here as the town center's only locally owned jeweler. Say hi to the Lupos when you go there. Beards celebrates 44 years in Jacksonville with huge store-wide saving. That's right, you save up to 44% on rings, earrings, bracelets, bands. Buy now and get as much as 44% off Beards' already amazing prices. Check out Beards' new collection of amazing diamond necklaces with both natural or lab-grown diamonds. Or see their selection of the hottest yellow gold fashion jewelry starting under $300. And if you're getting engaged, you can get the ring of her dreams and save like never before at Beards. Beards Diamonds, because they're local, can run circles around those corporate chain stores. Better selection, better prices, better service, better quality. Don't settle for chain store jewelry. Get her the best at Beards. Don't miss Beards Diamond Anniversary Sale. Beards Diamonds at the St. John's Town Center. Shop local. Shop Beards.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Yes, it is. Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM. Glad you are with us. Matt Hayes of XL Primetime and one of the best college football writers out there for the USA Today joins us in less than 15 minutes to talk about the soap opera of Lane Kiffin. As Lane Kiffin turns in Oxford, Gainesville, and Baton Rouge, what does it all mean and how will it all end? Matt's got a lot of opinions on this, no question about it. And we'll talk with Matt Hayes coming up about all of it in about 15 minutes or so. Earlier today, I was down at the Miller Electric Center inside the Jaguar locker room. Had the opportunity to catch up one-on-one with the numerous Jacksonville Jaguars as they get ready to take on the Arizona Cardinals on Sunday out in the desert. The third time Jacksonville's going out west. They've already won in San Francisco. They've already won in Las Vegas. Can they go out there for a third time and get it done, this time against the 3-7 Arizona Cardinals? One of the best offensive linemen on the team this year has been Ezra Cleveland. You know, I'm old enough to remember when a lot of people, myself included, I'm not going to throw stones in a glass house, thought Ezra Cleveland was going to get benched, maybe traded, maybe released in July and early August. Ezra Cleveland has turned that around into what I think maybe being the best offensive lineman on the team. He's certainly in the conversation. I caught up with him earlier today down at the Miller Electric Center. Here is that conversation on Hacker After Dark. All right, inside the Jaguar locker room, Jaguars getting ready for the Arizona Cardinals on Sunday. We got Jaguar offensive lineman Ezra Cleveland with us here on 1010XL. Ezra, how'd practice go out there today?
It was good. It was a little warm. I wore pants. Didn't think it was going to be that hot, November. But no, it was good.
192 yards rushing for this football team last week. Just dominating performance. When you watch the film back, was it as good the second time around as it was playing?
I don't know. I mean, Sunday was pretty fun, but no, unit did a good job. We had some stuff we needed to clean up, but all in all, I think it was a good outing for the whole offense, the whole team, really. I mean, all three phases.
I mean, a dominating win. The fan base is obviously really, really excited. When you win a game like that, what can that do to propel this team moving forward?
Yeah, I think mainly we just, kind of develop some confidence, but I also don't think we can let it, get our heads too big because, I mean, the NFL is any given Sunday, and you got to prepare for your next opponent, just like you did with your previous opponent. So,
you've played a lot of football in this league. Boy, this season, from the outside looking in, it feels like you're playing pretty well. Do you think you're playing some of the best football of your career right now?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about that. I just I've had some lingering injuries with like ankles and stuff this year that I'm just grinding in the training room, trying to get better every week. Last week I was feeling pretty good, just health-wise all around, and I'm excited to stack on that and play a game without any really nagging injuries.
A couple of more for Ezra Cleveland. You look at this team responding to the adversity now numerous times this year. Coming off that fourth quarter in Houston, fans didn't know what to expect. Obviously, you guys knew what to expect. You went out there, took care of business. I mean, were you surprised? Were you even surprised how well this team came out after what happened in Houston in the fourth quarter?
After the fourth quarter in Houston, it was kind of hard. I wasn't there personally, but I'm sure I felt the way that everyone in the locker room felt. But even on Monday after the game, once it was flushed, everyone was just kind of ready to, go out there and kind of just show like what we were able to do. I think we kind of just let that one slip away, and the NFL's hard any given Sunday, and stuff can happen, be good or bad, as we could see. And I just think we did a good job of responding and not letting media and fans and all that stuff get in our heads, and just going back to work and trying to be there for each other, and me not letting the guy next to me down, the guy next to me not letting that guy down, and just playing for one another.
Liam Cohen, after the game, said this team plays better when they're, quote, pissed off. Fans have really taken a liking to that. Do you agree with that? Does this team play better when there's a chip on your shoulder?
Oh, yeah, I would say so. It's more just like, last week we said cut it loose. It's kind of just playing free, not worrying about consequences and, watching the film the next day and getting coached up. I think playing scared and playing for stuff makes you play slow, and playing slow is not good. So I think cutting it loose was a good phrase for us. Playing pissed off, yes. I like the way we play. It was fun, yeah.
Final question. Approaching Thanksgiving, meaningful football now. We're getting into crunch time. The P word starting to come up in the fan base, obviously. What does it mean to a player to have meaningful games coming into Thanksgiving and into December?
Yeah, personally, I think we're all thinking they're meaningful, even game one, going out there, you want to win. Being a competitor, you want to win, no matter if it's meaningful or not. But no, it's definitely fun coming in here every day and seeing the guys. They're excited. Winning football is fun football. And even when the games are close and you lose and it's, you're competing, it's still fun. And everyone's having fun right now, and it's a good vibe around the building.
Ezra, best of luck. We'll be watching Sunday.
Thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
There you go. Ezra Cleveland, been dominant at times this year, and I think they really missed him against Houston. He's been, to me, their best interior offensive lineman, and maybe it's either him or Anton Harrison as the best offensive lineman so far this year, at least in my opinion, which is a 180, quite frankly, from where most people, myself included, had Ezra Cleveland back in early August, which was either on the bench or on somebody else's roster. That guy has put forth a heck of a year to this point, and congrats to him on that. It was a great performance on Sunday for B.J. Green. I love the story for B.J. Green and Danny Strigow, two undrafted free agents on the defensive line. Both make the 53-man roster. Both now are dressing on Sundays, and both are making an impact. B.J. Green absolutely annihilated Justin Herbert on that one sack. Inexcusably, the refs called him for a personal foul. I'll talk to BJ about that during this interview. I thought it was nonsense then. I still think it's nonsense now. If you call that a personal foul, then I don't know what tackling a quarterback is. It wasn't helmet to helmet. It wasn't anything like that. He didn't land on him. I mean, they literally threw the flag because Herbert got hit too hard. This is tackle football, obviously. But B.J. Green has already made an impact. I expect that to continue. Earlier on at the Miller Electric Center, I caught up with B.J. Green. Here is that conversation on Hacker After Dark.
All right, inside the Jaguar locker room, Jaguars getting ready for the Arizona Cardinals on Sunday. We got Jaguar defensive lineman B.J. Green with us here on 1010XL. B.J., how'd practice go out there today?
Man, practice was smooth. You know, we were real intentional with everything that we were doing right now. You know, it's a mental day for us. So, you know, everybody wanted to make sure that we were doing the right things, being precise with our hands, rush angles, you know, early downs, you know, what they like to do, run tendency-wise, making sure that we're doing that and we're precise with everything that we're doing there.
The hit on Justin Herbert, how many times have you seen it? How many friends, family messaged you about it? I mean, that was one of the best hits of the weekend in the National Football League.
Man, I've been trying to tune it out. You know, it's always about what's next. You know, my vets always do a good job of making sure that I stay focused on what the next goal is, you know, and I'm not satisfied myself either because it didn't count. So, you know, I got a taste of what a sack should feel like, but now I want the real thing. And, you know, my vets, you know, Foye always reminds me, you know, you've never done enough. You know, you always can do more. So, you know, I watched it for a few times. You know, it was a good thing to go out there, you know, to take advantage of opportunity. But now it's like, I want the real thing. I want to go out there and go get it myself, you know, so.
You're not going to have to say it. I'll say it. It was ridiculous that it didn't count, but that'll just be my thoughts on it. All right, why does this team respond to adversity so well? I mean, after the fourth quarter in Houston, you guys come back here, best effort of the season. I mean, were you even surprised at how well this team came out and just responding to the adversity?
Not at all, man. I'm not excited or surprised about it. You know, that's just the standard here. You know, Coach Liam just told us, you know, we set a new standard here. You know, we're such a vet-heavy team. You know, everybody has a lot of experience. You know, us young guys, we have no choice but to follow because they set such a good example. You know, in my room specifically, you know, we have so many different vets from all different backgrounds in our room. There's so much. There's like a wealth of knowledge that you could have, you know, you can learn from. And, you know, when the time is right, you know, if somebody needs to go out there and make a play, you can always count on one of them to go out there and do it and settle it, so.
What is it like to go through this with Danny? A couple of undrafted free agents now on the 53, playing together, both making an impact. Is it a cool thing you guys are building together here?
No, it's awesome, man. You know, being in here with Danny, you know, we both have our roles. You know, we own up and we embrace it. We embrace our roles and we push each other to be better. You know, when he's out there, you know, I'm out there making sure that, you know, he's out there doing his thing. I'm the first guy. I'm excited for him. You know, when I'm out there doing my thing, it's vice versa. So, you know, it's exciting, you know, to have two guys come from the same background and come and make this team. And, you know, and not just make a team, but make an impact. It's special to watch.
Final question. Liam Cohen on Sunday has famously said this team plays better when they're pissed off. The fan base has kind of rallied around that. Do you agree with that? Does this team play better when there's a chip on your shoulder?
Of course. You know, nothing's given in this league. You know, everything has to be taken and earned. You know, we play better when, you know, we have that taste in our mouth. You know, Houston, we left with like a sour taste in our mouth because we let that go. So, you know, we wanted to come in last week. You know, everybody was focused. You know, there was no ha-ha, kiki in the locker room. Everybody was focused on what they're doing. And, you know, that's how we got that result on with the Chargers. You know, now that we've done that, you know, that's the standard. You know, you have to come in there and play pissed off, not just one game, but every single game. You know, play with that same intensity, that same intention.
BJ, appreciate it, man. Best of luck on Sunday.
Appreciate you.
There you go, BJ Green. You know, it's interesting what the Jaguar draft class has turned into, right? Certainly, Travis Hunter, Caleb Ransaw are both on season-ending IR. We haven't seen Wyatt Milam yet. That's your top three draft picks that probably we spent the most time talking about in the preseason. But Bashal Tootin, the fourth rounder, has been fantastic. I think LaQuint Allen, the seventh rounder, has been fantastic. Jonah Monheim, when given the opportunity, has been very good. And then Strigow and B.J. Green, two undrafted guys that have made the impact they've made already, just 10 short games into their career. The Jaguar draft class is not what we thought it was, but it's still making a pretty nice impact for this 6-4 football team. Again, I'm really high on Strigow, and I'm really high on B.J. Green and what those guys potentially could become here in Jacksonville. And I think based on last week, that's kind of what you're going to see moving forward, right? You know, you saw Emmanuel Ogbah as a healthy scratch. I would probably continue to expect that because I think you got production from 92 and 95 out there, and I don't see why you wouldn't want that production to continue to have opportunities moving forward into crunch time of the season. The Jaguars sit at 6-4. They currently have the final playoff spot right now. They would be the final wild card team in, the 7th seed in the AFC. And a really interesting week for the Jaguars coming up beginning tomorrow night. Houston, Buffalo tomorrow night. Now, everybody here probably needs to root for Buffalo, and I would agree with that. But if Houston were to win, that's not a terrible situation either, because that would put Buffalo at 7-4. Jacksonville could match Buffalo on Sunday in a potential seeding issue for the wild card. And then, of course, you have Indianapolis and Kansas City. Now, of course, we want Kansas City to beat Indy. We're the only fan base, by the way, that wants Kansas City to beat Indy. Everybody else in the AFC will be passionately rooting for the Indianapolis Colts because they don't want any part of Mahomes in the playoffs. Even if Indy wins, again, that's not terrible because you still own the tiebreaker over the Chiefs from the head-to-head. If you beat Arizona to get to 7-4, the Chiefs lose to go to 5-6, you're up 3 games on Kansas City for wildcard spots with 6 games to go. So as long as Jacksonville takes care of their own business, and that's been an issue for this team, but as long as they do, regardless really of what happens tomorrow night, Buffalo, Houston, or regardless what happens of Indy and Kansas City, whoever loses will help you to a certain extent in the AFC playoff picture. More on that coming up with Leon Searcy, former Jaguar Pro Bowl offensive tackle. He joins us coming up here in about 35 minutes or so. Coming up next, my buddy Matt Hayes. You hear him every day on XL Primetime. You can read his terrific work at the USA Today. Let's talk Lane Kiffin. Let's talk about the saga, the soap opera that's unfolding. And let's talk about what everybody wants to know. How is this going to end? Matt is a guy that I believe is somewhat in the know on what's happening here. Matt talks to a lot of people about this stuff. I'm very curious his thoughts. He joins us next right here. It's Hacker After Dark.
Wake up with Hayes Carline and a big bowl of football.
Say you are what you eat.
On the Terminix Kickoff Show, prepared by Campione Law and American Electrical Contracting. 5 hours before kickoff on 1010XL.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just a job, but an experienced, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
When it comes to glass, you don't want average. You want flawless. Duval Glass and Mirror has transformed homes and businesses across Jacksonville for over 35 years. Frameless showers that wow. Mirrors cut exactly to your style. Fogged or broken glass replaced. Decorative tabletops. Windows replaced or repaired to stand up to Florida storms. All backed by a 100% guarantee. Visit DuvalGlass.com for your free quote. There's only one name for glass and mirror around these parts. It's Duval.
Brackish Vodka, the spirit of the sportsman and proud partner of the Jaguars, is now available at the Fresh Market Spirits and Wine. The Fresh Market Spirits and Wine is a new adult beverage store offering spirits, wine, beer, and accessories at A1A North in Ponte Vedra, a first-of-its-kind destination for thoughtfully curated spirits, wine, and beer as only the Fresh Market can. And now, you can get Brackish Vodka at the Fresh Market. Brackish Vodka, for whatever your sport is. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
Custom Home Builders. Fed up with your electrical and low voltage companies that ghost you mid-project, sparking delays? Unreliable subs and poor electrical work that derails your schedules? Denny Thompson here for Tyson Inc., experts in seamless electrical services for your custom builds. Pre-construction planning, integration, and installation, no hassle. Your homeowners will love the new Tyson showroom. Home builders team up with Tyson for your next home building project. TysonInc.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line.
Hello.
Your floor's missing piece.
All right, obviously one of the biggest stories in sports is where is he going to end up? Lane Kiffin, Oxford, Mississippi, Gainesville, Florida, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I think if you talk to somebody in Baton Rouge, they feel pretty confident it's LSU. You talk to people in Oxford, as we have this week, they feel pretty confident he's going to stay at Ole Miss. You talk to people down here, oh, he's buying real estate in Gainesville. 2 of those 3 are going to be wrong. Only 1 is going to be right. My buddy Matt Hayes, you hear him every day on Prime Time. You also read his terrific work over at the USA Today. Matt's always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark. Matt, how we doing, man?
I'm great, Hack. How are you?
Matt, we're good. Thank you for the time. You've covered the college football game for many, many, many years. You're one of the best at what you do, and I'm just curious before we really dive into this, have you seen a scenario like this before, so public, with Lane Kiffin being courted by LSU, Florida, while Ole Miss is in the midst of a playoff? I mean, it is wild, this whole scenario, correct?
Yeah, it is, and I think a lot of it has to do with the guy himself, who is, Lane. I think he's torn. I really do. I don't think anybody knows what he's going to do, and I don't think Lane knows what he's going to do. I think he's torn about it. I think he realizes that his entire career and his personal life changed when he got to Oxford. I mean, if you look at his career, Hack, his professional career, this is the outlier because everything else is full of drama. He gets fired on the tarmac at USC. He gets burned in effigy at Knoxville after having 6 NCAA violations in 14 months as a Tennessee coach. Then he leaves the Boltstown to go to USC. He's in Alabama, and he gets his butt chewed every other week by Nick Saban. Then Saban fires him a week before the national championship game because Kiffin is doing what every other assistant coach does when they get a head coaching job and they stay at their program. They try and recruit players and assistants to join them, not from the team they're on, but all over. And Saban believed that he was putting too much time and effort in that, and not enough time and effort into Clemson. And so he fired him with a week to go to the championship game, and that's when Sark moved in. And so we all know the story. We all know where he's been. He gets to Oxford, and everything changes in his life. He says he hasn't had a drink in 5 years. He's in the best shape of his career. His family lives with him now in Oxford. They've all moved to Oxford. His ex-wife, Layla, now lives in Oxford with his family. So, I mean, he's got everything right now going on in his life. And I think the thing he's battling with is what if this is where I should be? And what if I go to LSU or if I go to Florida and I'm right back into that pressure meat grinder, which is what he would be. And I think that's what he's debating right now more than anything. It has nothing to do with money because whatever he wants is what someone's going to pay him.
Right.
And I think it's more along the lines of what's best for me personally and professionally, and how do I make myself the most happy and the most at peace.
So there were all sorts of rumors this past weekend, and I heard one, and I immediately texted you because I believe you're a lot in the know as to what's going on. Matt, you talk to people in our area. They believe Lane Kiffin to Florida is inevitable. You, a Florida alum, mind you, you're not so sure about that, correct?
Well, first off, let's be very clear here. You texted me like on Thursday and said, I'm hearing it's going to be Sunday is what you said.
Well, I guess I did hear that from 2 people.
Right. And I told you what?
Stop listening to those people.
Right. Thank you. It didn't happen.
That's right.
All right. So I don't even think he knows, Hack. I don't think he knows what he wants, honestly. I think Florida feels good about it. I would think that LSU probably feels pretty good about it, too.
Mm-hmm.
So at the end of the day, his family has visited both places. They might come back and say, look, it's up to you. It's your choice, when he might be looking for them to give him a choice. And I can't imagine their family telling him we like this place better than that place. It's going to come down to what he wants, what he personally wants. Does he want to go to another school, or does he want to stay where he is? And it's to me, I mean, as a head coach, to leave a situation where you're in now, where you've got a team that, as long as you beat Mississippi State, and that's not a given, Hack. That's a bitter rivalry. It's on the road. That is not a given, that game. But let's say you win that game, you go to 11-1. How do you walk away from a playoff team like that that's going to be like, at worst, probably a 6th seed, which means you're probably going to be hosting either Notre Dame or Miami in Oxford. I mean, why would anybody walk away from that? Especially when they're going to pay you the same thing Florida or LSU is going to pay you.
Why couldn't
you got a chance?
he could still coach that if he takes one of the other jobs, though, correct?
No,
I mean, that would have to get worked out.
No, I don't. I think once he makes his decision, I mean, they want a decision next week before the game.
Yeah.
So once he makes his decision, I think if he's not staying, I think move on. So then he now no longer coaches that team, and that's a difficult pill to swallow. That something you've worked 6 years on to get to this point. You've got a team that I think at worst gets to the quarterfinals, and at best possibly wins a semifinal game and gets to the national title game. So to me, that would be very difficult to just walk away from. And I mean, is that the ultimate thing that moves it in one direction or the other? I don't know. I don't know, Hack, honestly, because at the end of the day, it's what he thinks is best for him and what he thinks is best for his family.
You hear Matt Hayes every day on XL Primetime. You also read his terrific work covering college football at the USA Today. You mentioned him being torn. Well, that's obvious because, Matt, he has had numerous chances. The press conference after the Gator game, the Pat McAfee interview, which to me turned into a nothing burger yesterday, the SEC teleconference, which got kind of testy with some reporters today. He's had every opportunity to say, I'm staying at Ole Miss. This is where I'm going to be in 2026. Decision's done. And he has gone above and beyond in these instances to not do that. And as long as he continues not to do that, this whirlwind story is going to be around. And I would have to think the Ole Miss folks out there who are in the midst of their best season in decades have got to be unbelievably frustrated, if not a little angry, that he just won't flat out say, I'm coming back in 2026.
Yeah, but I don't know why you're angry. I mean, I can see they're upset because they feel like they've done everything he wanted. They're willing to pay him whatever he wants. I get all of that. But I don't know why you're angry. He's a guy that is in high demand, and he's trying to make a decision, and it's not an easy decision. He's not doing it on purpose. He's not purposely extending this thing and trying to let everybody have the attention on him. That's not who he is anymore. He's not that same guy. I think he's genuinely torn over it. So I don't understand why the LSU people are upset about it. And quite frankly, if he doesn't go to Florida or he doesn't go to LSU, I have no idea why the LSU and Florida fans will be mad, but they will be. They'll be very mad. And Florida fans will be furious at Scott Strickland for it too. That he quote unquote didn't land him. But there's nothing Scott Strickland can do other than put together the best deal he can put together, which I'm sure he has, just like LSU has. And it's going to end up with this guy is going to make a decision. There's nothing anyone can do.
I want to focus on Florida in a moment, back to Lane and next week. So he goes on McAfee yesterday and says that no ultimatum was given. I almost think you could word that however you wanted. But, what you're saying is kind of what I believed when I saw that interview, that maybe a quote-unquote ultimatum wasn't given, but you could easily, find whatever wording you want to go to ease around that particular word. Bottom line is they're going to have to know before the Egg Bowl if he's going to be coaching them or not, correct?
Why?
Well,
why do they have to know before the Egg Bowl?
Well, based on what you said, I mean, if he's going to take another job, they're going to need to know before the playoff.
Right, but the Egg Bowl is before the playoff.
Okay, so they need to know Monday after the Egg Bowl.
The Egg Bowl is potentially 8 days before the playoff.
All right, so
all they got to do is win. If they win that game, then they're in the playoff. If they lose that game, Hack, it may be a moot point. They may not even be in the playoffs. So I think part of that is also him trying to keep the focus on the game. The game is the most important thing right now. Them getting to the playoffs right now is the most important thing. And the fact that again, I don't know if there's any ultimatum. Okay, I have not heard that there was an ultimatum. I don't know if there was a direct ultimatum. It may be, hey man, we'd like to have an answer before the Egg Bowl. But what's Ole Miss going to do? Are they going to fire him and give him $36 million? Because you can't fire him for cause because he's interviewing with someone. That's not cause. So if you fire him before then, you owe him $36 million. So Ole Miss has no leverage, none. All they can say is, hey, we'd like to have a decision.
Fair. All right, so let me go back to what you said earlier. You think if he takes the LSU or the Florida job, he won't coach the playoff, and that would be a sticking point to stay at Ole Miss. Well, if that's the
No, I think he would like to coach.
right, but Ole Miss wouldn't let him.
I don't think Ole Miss would let him.
So
correct.
in that instance, then when does Ole Miss need to?
I think what you'd probably see is Ole Miss would like Joe Judge would be the interim coach.
Yeah.
And they'd move along with that and see how far they got. And if something crazy happens and they win the whole thing, I would imagine the Judge would get the job. But if they go one out, Miami goes in there and beats them, then Ole Miss is just going to look for another coach.
All right, so the Egg Bowl is next Friday. Assuming he doesn't need to let them know before next Friday, are we talking the following Monday? Are we talking championship Saturday? When do you think Ole Miss will know one way or the other?
You're saying if Ole Miss wins.
If Ole Miss wins, if they beat Mississippi State, when does Lane Kiffin need to let them know?
Heck, I honestly believe that if Ole Miss wins and they go to 11-1 and it's clear they're in the playoffs, you're going to get a decision from him quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's yes, I'm staying, or no, I'm not. Because he's not going to let them. He's not going to let them swing like that in limbo, and he's not going to let whatever team, if he's going to go to another team, swing in limbo because the signing day's coming up. So I don't see that at all. I think if they win, it'll be quick. If they lose, it'll be even quicker.
Final moments with Matt Hayes. You get him every day on Primetime. You also read his work over there at the USA Today. Matt, from a Gator perspective, I said this last night. Everybody's on the Lane train right now. Holy moly. If he says no and returns to Ole Miss, or worse yet, if he says no and goes to LSU, Lane Kiffin will become public enemy number 1, and Scott Strickland will be public enemy 1A. It will be a massive change on the opinion of Lane Kiffin. What is the backup plan for Florida? There was some speculation about John Sumrall, but then that speculation was ended about 2 hours after it was reported today. There was a thought that he was going to meet with Florida tomorrow. Literally 2 hours after the initial report came out, it got debunked and said there is no meeting, and in fact, he's taken his name out of the hat. So what is Florida's backup plan if it's not Lane Kiffin?
Well, first off, let me address something you said earlier. Why does Lane Kiffin become public enemy number 1 if he doesn't sign with Florida?
Because you know how Gator fans are. Honestly, you know how Gator fans are. You know they're going to be pissed.
I think they'd be more upset with Scott Strickland, which, again, is dumb.
I think they'll be upset with Strickland, but make no mistake about it. They're going to be plenty mad at Lane Kiffin for turning him down.
Listen, all Scott Strickland can do is put up the best deal he can put up, and I'm sure he has, okay? Again, this is going to come down to Lane Kiffin. And if he says no, what does Florida do? They move on. They look at someone else. I mean, there's Jeff Brom, there's Jed Fish. There's coaches out there that you could take a run at.
Can you imagine having to justify Jed Fish to this fan base, though?
The whole idea of right, Hack. But I heard someone say, "Well, go throw the moon at Dan Lanning." Dan Lanning has the moon right now in Oregon.
Yeah.
With the life insurance policies that he has through Phil Knight, he has the moon. He's not going anywhere. I mean, could you pry Lincoln Riley out of USC? Yeah, you probably could. Especially after they lose this week to Oregon and they're out of the playoffs. Yeah, you probably could. Is that what you want? Do you want Lincoln Riley? I mean, I don't know. I mean, so it's going to be very interesting to see where they go. I don't think you're going to see them go to Group of Five because I don't think you can fire a guy from the Group of Five who did what he did in that program in 4 years, being Billy Napier. And I'm not talking about he built the roster, but he just didn't win, and go after another Group of Five coach. So you got to have somebody that's legit. And, I mean, we'll see what they do.
As we wrap up, Eli Drinkwitz is kind of the name you heard all along after Lane Kiffin. Is there still a thought that Drinkwitz would be in top consideration if it's not Lane?
So it's Drinkwitz. Okay, that's number 1.
Right. I'll call him Drink. How about that?
Just like it's Sumrall, not Summerall.
I got Sumrall right earlier. I got that
I
right.
know you did. I'm just playing with you, man. You know what? I think Eli would take the job. I do. But I mean, it's again, you get to the point where you have no idea what's going on at these universities. You have no idea what these guys' families are saying. You have no idea. Like if Mizzou says, no, we really want you, we're going to pay you X. You know, then you're in a situation where these guys know the known. You know what I mean? That's the big thing right now with Lane Kiffin, too. He knows the known right now. He knows what he's dealing with. He doesn't know what's going on at Florida LSU behind the scenes. He's just been told this is how it is. Nobody knows anything until you get knee-deep into a job, and that's a doctor, a lawyer, anyone, a radio host, whoever, a writer. you don't know anything about a job till you get knee deep in it. And when you know the known, which he does right now, I think that's a safe place to be in. It's a safe place for Eli Drinkwitz to be in. It's a safe place for Lane Kiffin to be in. So it's, I mean, that's the difficulty of trying to get these guys out of these jobs when they're paid well. And right now, Hack, all these guys are paid really well.
Final question, and I know you, and I know you're not going to like this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. We won't hold you to it because obviously there's a lot of caveats to this. But you're obviously in the know, right? You're one of the guys, and you talk to a lot of people in a lot of different circles. Matt Hayes, where is Lane Kiffin going to be coaching in a month?
I don't think he's going to be at Ole Miss because I think if he was going to be at Ole Miss, he'd have stayed already. Now, I might be wrong. They might win an emotional Egg Bowl and they go to 11-1, and he's sitting there and he wakes up, Saturday morning and says, "Man, this is where I should be," and he makes a decision. My guess would be he doesn't go to Ole Miss. I think it's either going to be LSU or Florida. And if I had to guess between the two, I would probably say Florida, just simply because he knows. I think he's patterned his career after Spurrier. And I think he'd love to go in there and bring Florida to what it once was. Where if you're at LSU, you're just expected to be the next guy to win the national title because they've had 3 since 2003. Florida in the last 16 years has been basically an average football team with a couple good years from Mullen. And every coach wants to go into a situation where you're working from the ground and moving up, not where you walk in and already you're at the top or you're close to the top, which is where LSU is. So that would be my guess. If you're forcing me to choose between the two, I would say Florida.
I'll give you a ton of credit. Early in the season, you had Oklahoma winning the Southeastern Conference. I thought a lot of people thought you were nuts, and now you look, they're number 8 in the country, and they're probably going to make the college football playoff. The Lane Kiffin stuff, everything else. What do you got coming up on the USA Today in the coming days?
I mean, actually, I got a piece coming out tomorrow about the playoff and how they initially basically made a deal with the SEC that they would put more emphasis on the strength of schedule. They would put more emphasis on good wins and to a lesser extent good losses, and they haven't done that. And right now you're in a doomsday scenario where Alabama could beat Auburn, okay, to get to 10-2, play in the SEC championship game as one of the 2 best SEC teams, lose that game, and then get out of the playoff. Mm-hmm. And there's no way the SEC is going to stand for that. No way. And that turns into a doomsday scenario of the SEC saying, "Oh, yeah? You told us you were going to do this. You didn't do this. We're just going to have our own playoff." And then all of a sudden, all hell breaks loose.
It'll be interesting, not only the Lane Kiffin saga, but how the playoff turns out over the coming weeks. Matt Hayes, every day, XL Primetime, and, of course, a big part of the USA Today. Matt, thank you, brother. We'll talk soon.
Okay, Hack.
Always appreciate my buddy Matt Hayes, my enemy. Isn't that what people think, Denmark? Me and Matt are at each other's throats all the time.
Yeah, y'all hate each other, don't you?
That was the word back in the day. That was the word. Maybe my best friend at the station. Matt's a good dude, and we appreciate his time tonight here on Hacker After Dark. Did you listen to any of the Lane Kiffin teleconference today? From the
No, I read the
Southeastern
transcript.
Conference? Yeah, go back and listen to it later on tonight. It just, every other question was about his future, and he just kept saying the same thing. I'm not answering. I'm not answering. I'm not answering. I'm not doing it. It's like, at some point, when you refuse to answer whether you're going to be at Ole Miss in 2026, like I said in the first segment, I've changed my mind even on this since last night. At some point, when somebody tells you who they are, you have to start believing them. And who Lane Kiffin has told us he is in the last week or so is a guy that flat out will not commit to coach Ole Miss next season. And when he gets opportunity after opportunity and continues not to do it, well then, man, at some point you probably have to take him up on his word that he's not going to coach Ole Miss in 2026. Again, really interesting, fascinating stuff to see how it turns out. And, of course, one of the main local teams, the Florida Gators, right in the middle of it. Quickly, Matt and I were talking. You're a big part of Gator Nation. You're a Gator alum. Gator fans will be mad at Scott Strickland. Gator fans will be fuming at Lane Kiffin, will they not, if he says no and goes to LSU?
They will be, but I think it'll be more of, like, they'll know that how I put this to where I sound like a smart person. It'll be more of.
I often ask myself that every day.
I'm trying to say this like as we're live on the radio. I think it's more of Lane just wants to be at Ole Miss. Like, it has nothing to do with Florida.
Yeah.
And I think that some Gator fans, now you're going to have the extreme ones that are going to, be pissed off, but you're going to have a lot of it just be like, well, I mean, Lane just wants to be at Ole Miss.
No, I agree with that. That's why I think the doomsday scenario, if he says no to Florida and goes to LSU.
That's different.
If he says no to Florida and goes to LSU, well, then I think he does become public enemy number one in the eyes of Gator fans.
I would say Scott Strickland would become more of the public enemy. Like, we talked about this right when Napier got fired, and you said that. I remember you said, like, Lane Kiffin, people are going to be mad at him. And I'll be like, no, that's Scott Strickland. And every fan is going to say, how did Scott Strickland screw this up? And I think it's more of the boosters that are running this whole thing and not Scott Strickland. So we'll see. We're going to know an answer by next Friday, like Matt said. Like, I don't think we're going to wait till the weekend. And it wouldn't surprise me if we know by – when is that game for the Egg Bowl? Is it noon, 3:30, one of the two?
I have to – it's probably next – I know it's next Friday. I would imagine it's during the day.
Yeah. It's
I think Georgia Tech's the night game.
Okay, so it's the noon or 3:30 game. And I think 2 hours after the game, we'll know.
Yeah, we'll have some clarity. No doubt about that. All right. 1 hour down, 1 hour to go here on Hacker After Dark. We'll take you up till 10 o'clock as we do every night right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. Coming up in the 9 o'clock hour, my buddy Leon Searcy, former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We get him every week. We will recap L.A. We will preview Arizona. And also Logan Robinson, the owner and the founder of Noel Game Day. All this talk about Lane Kiffin and Florida. Well, what about Mike Norvell and Florida State? He's 5-5. They have 2 road games left. Are these 2 games going to determine whether Florida State has a job opening in a couple of weeks? We'll talk about that in the 9 o'clock hour as well. Jacksonville, we're glad you're with us. Wednesday night, Northeast Florida. It's Hacker After Dark.
The Jaguars prowl in the Valley of the Sun. One team flies, the other bites. Stuck up on cactus juice, it's a duel in the desert. Jaguars Cardinals. Sunday at 1 on the home of the Jaguars. 1010XL.
The wait is over. Sunday, December 7th, your Jacksonville Jaguars return to Everbank Stadium for a massive division showdown against the Indianapolis Colts. This is more than just a game. It's a statement. Touchdown, Jacksonville! The Jags are back home and ready to turn up the heat in their iconic Prowler throwbacks. Kickoff is 1 p.m., so pack the bank and make it loud. Secure your seats now at Jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We'll see you at the bank.
Waiting around for Black Friday? At Beaver Toyota, Beaver Chevrolet, and Beaver Mitsubishi, we've already dropped Black Friday prices. That's right, thousands of vehicles priced to move now. Get 0 down, no payments for 90 days, plus peace of mind with a lifetime warranty. Don't wait for the crowds. Get your Black Friday deal today. Start saving early with Beaver Toyota, Beaver Chevrolet, and Beaver Mitsubishi, where Black Friday starts right now. That'll wow ya.
Come to Monahan Jewelers' 48th annual holiday sale now with up to 30% off on GIA certified diamonds and up to 40% off our entire store. Certified diamonds, gemstones, engagement rings, diamond studs, designer brands. We're not a big box store. We're your local family jeweler with an amazing hand-picked inventory for every budget. And with interest-free financing, enjoy beautiful jewelry with a low monthly payment. Support your local family jeweler this Christmas with up to 40% off our entire inventory. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach open 7 days a week in December.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach. Here's a health and wellness tip from orthopedic specialists of Jacksonville.
Here's a simple tip for shoulder health to improve your posture. Slouching can put extra stress on your shoulders, leading to pain and injury. Make sure your head is over your shoulders are relaxed and pulled back, and your spine is properly aligned. Whether you're sitting or standing, if you sit for long periods of time, make sure to get up and take breaks and work on pulling your shoulders back. Get up and get moving, Jacks, and go Jags.
Stay healthy with orthopedic specialists of Jacksonville.
It's time for the Plumbing 411 from Superior Plumbing and Pipeline.
It's not just annoying when your toilet keeps running long after you flush. It's also costly because it could waste hundreds of gallons of water a day. A running toilet's often caused by worn-out flappers, corroded valves, or a faulty float. Superior Plumbing and Pipelining will fix the problem fast, which can help lower your water bill. Stop the running and start saving today. Make the superior choice when your toilet won't stop running, and learn more at superiorplumbingjacks.com.
Mike Dempsey for Apex Roofing and Contracting of Jacksonville Beach. If your roof's got any damage, if it leaks, if it's just old and ugly, call my friends at Apex Roofing. But Mike, roofs are so expensive. It's true, quality roofing is not cheap, but Apex Roofing has up to 100% financing available, so you don't have to compromise quality for budget. Apex Roofing, no shortcuts, no stress, just quality work with financing available. Reach for the peak with Apex Roofing and Contracting in Jacksonville Beach. ApexRoofingFL.com.
Greenlaw Group is for the insured. If you think you have roof damage, call 904-302-7055 today, and they will schedule you a free roof inspection. Trust their law firm to help you fight your insurance when you need it. These storms can cause damage you may not even see yet. Call Greenlaw Group 302-7055. There's no cost to retain their law firm and no cost to have your roof inspected. They only get paid if you win. Greenlaw Group, for the insured.
Hang out with hacker Leon and Coach Gerald Ingram. The window world of Northeast Florida 5th quarter. Live from Hurricane Grill and Wings, Julington Creek. 2 hours after the final whistle on game day. Nailed down by Apex Roofing and Contracting.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey, and I only like to recommend the best, which is why I'm proud to say that I chose Pella Windows and Doors for my own home. And now's a great time to upgrade your home with 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years of interest-free payments on the best windows and doors in the business. Don't wait. Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com or visit their showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows. For quality you can trust and savings you can't miss, that's Pella Windows and Doors.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. When pests invade your home or business, you don't just need them out, you need them out fast. And you need to keep them out. At Terminix, they'll show up for you and eliminate pests quicker, just like they did at my house, because they care about what matters most to you. When pests show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with a pest problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com. That's right, Terminix it.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick. We're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by May 14th.
I know it's football season, but I know you love basketball too. And youth sports are always in season at the First Coast YMCA. Registration is now open for winter basketball at the Y. Today, more than ever, our kids need to experience the joy of being a kid while also learning the importance of teamwork, respect, and healthy living. At the Y, we're providing a safe, clean, fun environment with an exciting youth basketball league. Learn more at fcymca.org.
What's happening, beautiful people? It's your main man, E to the T here. And cool air, open trails, and that perfect Florida winter sunshine, woo! It's the season to get outside and explore Clay County. From Christmas parades and hometown festivals to holiday markets and local theater shows, holiday magic is lighting up every corner of Clay County. Get outside, get moving, and get active. Come see everything happening this season at exploreclay.com. That's exploreclay.com.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family-owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Hey, Hickett here for Zero Res. It's Thanksgiving time, man. But listen, don't deal with the toughest gravy, cranberry sauce, or pumpkin pie disasters. Let the cleaning freaks do it. Get back to clean. 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $149, a 4th room free with a canned food donation. Ideally, a full bag of cans, not just 1 or 2. Also take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Call my friend Zero Res right now, 28757, or go online at ZeroResJacksonville.com and say you want the 1010 special. Zero Res, spelled backwards and forwards. It spells the same.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Till 10 o'clock. Glad you're with us. Hacker After Dark, 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Jaguars Cardinals, Sunday, 4 o'clock. You'll hear it right here on 1010XL. 5th quarter, 2 hours after the game goes final. Myself, the coach Gerald Ingram, and the Pro Bowler, Leon Searcy. We'll catch up with Leon coming up here in about 10 minutes or so on Hacker After Dark. The Arizona Cardinals, a team that Jacksonville just quite frankly doesn't play very often. I believe this will be like the 7th or 8th meeting all time between Jacksonville and Arizona. They only meet once every 4 years. They're one of the most obscure teams when it comes to Jacksonville. You know, my lasting memory of the Arizona Cardinals was, what was that thing called? The Whirly Bird that Andrew Norwell said? The crazy play that got intercepted when Urban Meyer was the coach here. And he was like, oh, it was the Whirly Bird. Well, that Whirly Bird didn't work very well that particular day. The other lasting memory from that game was Jamal Agnew. That was the 109-yard kick, field goal return for touchdown. I think that was the last time the Cardinals and the Jaguars played each other. The Cardinals won that game. I also think back to 2017. Jaguars, great year in 2017, right? Do you remember what happened when the Jaguars went out to play Blaine Gabbert and the Arizona Cardinals? Jaguars lost that game. Lost the last time they were out in Arizona to Blaine Gabbert. So when I hear people saying Jacoby Brissett, no. Jacoby Brissett this week to me is a combination of Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Brett Favre, and Roger Staubach all wound into one. If you lose to Jake Browning and you lose to Davis Mills, do not have a conversation with me about, well, we're lucky Kyler Murray's not playing. I do not care. Do not care at all. I heard all Seattle week that they were going to be without 3 of their starting 4 secondary players. How'd that work out? I heard all week that the Rams weren't going to have Puka Nacua. How did that work out? I heard all week how Houston wasn't going to have C.J. Stroud. How'd that work out? I don't care who the Arizona Cardinals are suiting up. I've been burned by that too many times this year. The Jaguars need to go out there, no matter how injured Arizona is, and take care of business. And speaking of injuries, I mean, good grief. The Jaguars had like 15 guys on their injury report. Now, most were limited. I believe the only 2 that did not participate today were Yasir Abdullah and Trayvon Walker. And Walker is obviously concerning because he's arguably the most important player on the defense. It'll be interesting to see what Trayvon's status is tomorrow. But guys that were limited, Brian Thomas Jr. was limited today, means he did something out there. Jordan Lewis, Brenton Strange, Anton Harrison, right? Guys that hadn't played in the last couple of weeks, at least were able to do something on the practice field today. So the number 15 will be huge for the amount of guys on the injury report. But of those 15, only 2 guys, Yasir Abdullah and Trayvon Walker, flat out did not participate. For Arizona, it's a long injury report as well. Again, no Kyler Murray. I don't care. The Jaguars have been beaten by too many backup quarterbacks. Also, no Marvin Harrison Jr., but they do have Trey McBride. And when you think about what Brock Bowers did to this Jaguar team no more than a couple of weeks ago, Trey McBride is a very similar type player to Brock Bowers. Also, Trey McBride just had over 10 catches for over 100 yards last week in the loss to San Francisco. In fact, Jacoby Brissett, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, former Florida Gator great Jacoby Brissett, completed 47 passes out of 57 attempts. I believe that is the most completions in the history of the National Football League. And Denmark, when I read that, I was kind of surprised. I mean, history's a long time. No quarterback had completed 47 passes in an NFL game prior to last week.
Yeah, usually you see, like in a blowout, they throw the ball a lot, but Arizona actually had a couple of drives, even from the second quarter on, to where they were actually moving the ball, but they weren't big plays. And I forget who the two quarterbacks were, like Drew Brees and somebody else had 45. So it is pretty crazy that no one's gotten to like 50. But it kind of does make sense from how the flow of that game was.
You got two NFL record setters, Cam Little, the 68-yard field goal, and Jacoby Brissett, 47 completions in an NFL regular season game. Let's preview Jacksonville and Arizona with the former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jaguars. You hear him every day on primetime. My buddy Leon Searcy. You'll get him on the fifth quarter on Sunday. We'll review L.A. We'll preview Arizona. Leon Searcy next, right here on Hacker After Dark.
It's the secret sauce of a successful football team.
This is a special group of men.
Each week, Superior Plumbing spotlights the special teams player of the game.
It was complete domination in all three phases.
That's how you win football games.
On 1010XL.
What if you could pull up to $500,000 in cash out of your home and drop your mortgage rate to 4.99% APR? Hey, Prosper here, and right now at Loan Pronto, they get the lowest rates in 3 years. With Loan Pronto's rapid equity loan, you can get your cash in as little as 3 days, pay off all those high-interest credit cards, and even skip your next 2 house payments. One client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. Paid off their debt, paid off 2 car loans, saved $2,100 a month. One call, life change. There's no wait, no hard credit pull. You probably won't need an appraisal. Just fast, easy cash from your home's equity. Rates at a 3-year low. Act now. Call 914-999-1508 or visit loanpronto.com for your free instant home appraisal. See how much cash you can get today. Call 914-999-1508. See how much cash you can get today. You can also visit loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166171. On approved credit, visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Truth Teller here, and I've solved all of your holiday problems and stress. A gift card from the Blue Crab Crab House. Get this, you buy a $50 gift card, and you get an additional $15 card for free. It's that simple, and as always at the Blue Crab Crab House, the best crabs in Jacksonville. Oysters and seafood, period. Blue Crab Crab House, open every day except for Monday off of San Jose on Jewington Creek Road.
David Garrard here. Playing in the NFL can put a lot of wear and tear on your body, especially your knees. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has kept me mobile and ready to tackle every day.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialist.
This is former NFL quarterback David Garrard. If your knees have taken a beating and you're finally ready to do something about it, then let Southeast Orthopedic take a look. Come on, do your knees a favor.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Get more Gators on the Gator Bites podcast presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists with new episodes every Friday. Subscribe and listen by searching for 1010XL's Gator Bites podcast wherever you find podcasts and at 1010XL.com.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Jason, I called you about the ductwork in my attic this summer, and you totally blew me off.
I did.
My airflow is too low and my bills are too high.
I know.
There's stains on my ceiling tiles and sweating around the vents, and the mice have chewed so many holes in the ducts, I think they're getting more AC than I am.
I know.
Then how could you let me suffer all summer, Jason?
Because summer is the one time of year I just can't send my technician into someone's steaming hot attic. They'd kill me. Ductwork is hot, cramped work at the best of times. Lucky for you, those best of times are in November.
You mean like now?
Bueller Air and Plumbing can repair your old, damaged, or just plain sketchy ductwork right now when it's not too hot and not too cold.
And none of your technicians will kill you.
It's a win-win.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
What if you could pull up to $500,000 in cash out of your home and drop your mortgage rate to 4.99% APR? Hey, Prosper here, and right now at Loan Pronto, they get the lowest rates in 3 years. With Loan Pronto's rapid equity loan, you can get your cash in as little as 3 days, pay off all those high-interest credit cards, and even skip your next 2 house payments. One client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. Paid off their debt, paid off 2 car loans, saved $2,100 a month. One call, life change. There's no wait, no hard credit pull. You probably won't need an appraisal. Just fast, easy cash from your home's equity. Rates at a 3-year low. Act now. Call 914-999-1508 or visit loanpronto.com for your free instant home appraisal. See how much cash you can get today. Call 914-999-1508. See how much cash you can get today. You can also visit loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. On approved credit. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes, and this holiday season, Leonard Truck Outfitters and 1010XL are helping you deck the truck. Stop by either Leonard's location, Blanding Boulevard in North Park or Beach Boulevard in Jacksonville, and it'll take you 1 minute to enter. You can win a deck-fed storage system with Cargo Glide, installed by the pros at Leonard. We'll draw the winner Friday, December 19 during XL Primetime, live from the Beach Boulevard store. Plus, you'll score Florida-Georgia basketball tickets and a Gator National Championship commemorative basketball. It's easy, it's fast, and you could win big. So head to Leonard Truck Outfitters today and deck the truck.
Remember your first magnificent cigar? Yeah, neither do we. But here's your chance to make the next great memory with an extraordinary A.J. Fernandez cigar. Join us at Tobacco Cove, 3849 Bay Meadows Road on November 22nd from 1 to 4 p.m. for outstanding food, awesome prizes, and incredible deals on A.J. Fernandez cigars. Tobacco Cove, 3849 Bay Meadows Road. It's more than a cigar store, it's an experience.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Cardinals, Sunday, 4 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL 2 hours after the game goes final. You'll have the coach, Gerald Ingram, myself, and, of course, the Pro Bowler, Leon Searcy, for the 5th quarter. Let's talk to the former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars. You hear him every day on XL Primetime, and we're lucky enough to have him weekly here on Hacker After Dark. Leon, how are you, man?
What's good, bro?
Leon, you and I haven't spoke since the game on Sunday, and what a 180-degree difference. The 4th quarter collapse in Houston. We wondered how the Jaguars would respond, and they come out and put forth their best effort of the year, Leon, absolutely destroying the LA Chargers.
Edgar, listen, I'm out of town. I'm laying in my bed, and I'm watching the game. I'm wiping the cold out of my eyes. I'm readjusting my glasses because the team that I saw last Sunday was unrecognizable.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely unrecognizable, the way that they executed on both sides of the ball. I mean, even the first 5 games, this team did not play as well as they played against the San Diego Chargers. I'm talking about a high level of intensity, a high level of execution, finish, started fast, finished fast, out physical. I mean, listen, everything that we talked about, what they didn't do the week before against against the Texans, they absolutely did it in this game against the Chargers. They took control of the game from start to finish in the trenches with the running backs, with the wide receivers. I mean, almost a flawless game in my assessment.
I thought Liam Cohen had his best play-calling game as the Jaguar head coach. Some of those plays they were using, and I guess that speaks to as well, lack of penalties, not getting behind the chains early on. You're able to go into your bag of tricks a little bit, and I thought he did that beautifully.
Well, I mean, he had been talked about in the last couple of weeks, when we were losing those games. A lot of those games that we were losing had a lot to do with us and our inability to, self-destruct. I mean, a lot of those penalties put us back in situations where, if you have a script going into the game and you start off 1st and 20 or 2nd and 15, it's hard to apply that script when you're behind the chains. So, for this team offensively to only have 1 penalty for 5 yards, and keep them in down the distance that's serviceable. That's why Liam was able to move and maneuver some of his plays the way he liked to, because we're running situations where the chains were behind us.
Former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars, my buddy Leon Searcy. Leon, you and I were obviously very critical of the offensive line Sunday after the Texan game, or I guess a week ago Sunday. And then they come back out against the Chargers, and I'm going to give them their flowers, man. I thought it was the best performance of the offensive line. Trevor was kept reasonably clean the entire game. They ran for 192 yards. And look, even Walker Little, who you and I, again, were very critical of after Houston, I thought Walker Little did some nice things on Sunday as well.
Oh, well, yeah, absolutely. Listen, I said after the Texan game that the whole offensive line should be embarrassed by their play. No one coming out of that game should feel good about the way they performed, because it was atrocious. It really was atrocious the way the offensive line played. And I remember listening to the locker room on Jaguar.com where Liam Combs says we play better pissed off. And I think that's what the offensive line did. Listen, we all piled on how terrible they played against the Texans, not only locally but nationally. So, I mean, it's hard to not listen to the noise. But, you know, it was fair in our assessment that they played terrible. But when you got to give them their flowers, I give them their flowers. They played outstanding in that game against the San Diego Chargers defense that's known to get after it pretty good.
Leon, what was your assessment on Trevor Lawrence? Personally, I thought the third quarter on Sunday might have been his best quarter of football the entire year. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I do. You know, you can't turn the blind eye to the interception. It was a terrible interception. But listen, in that third quarter, anytime you go 16 plays and go down to score a touchdown, I mean, your hat goes off. That's play calling. That's mental aptitude. That's physicalness. That's executing at a very high level. That's moving the chains. That's taking control of time of possession. You seal the deal when you do that kind of thing to any kind of defense. You seal the deal. I mean, they were ready to fold their attempts to go home after that. That was outstanding play calling and execution by that Jaguar offense to go down there at 16 plays and punch it in.
You know, Jakobi Meyers as well is where I want to go next. I mean, the guy was here all of 10 days prior to the game against the Chargers, and he has 5 grabs for 64 yards, a couple of key third down receptions. I mean, Leon, what does it say to the kind of guy Jakobi Meyers is, the kind of leader that he is and the professional, that he can come in a week and a half, lead the team in receptions and receiving yardage?
Well, I mean, he's a seasoned vet. You know, he brings a sense of maturity into that wide receivers meeting room. He's had admirable success. He's a guy who's going to catch the ball. He's a guy that's going to be professional go about his business. And he can be a mentor to a lot of those young guys. I don't care how talented. I don't care how talented you are as a player. A talent alone doesn't survive in this league. You know, your professionalism, the way you go about your business, the way you preparedness, your daily routine, all that kind of stuff. Now, I'm not there in the locker room, but I can promise you that he's having a profound effect on those young guys because of the way he goes about his business. And then he goes out there and he performs at a high level, you know, catching the ball and getting the yards that he got. So, I mean, yes, you need seasoned vets. As much as you talk about young, athletic guys, talented here, talented there, but sometimes those veteran guys who've been in the league for a while, who've been steady, are the kind of guys that you need in that locker room moving forward.
You hear Leon Searcy every day on XL Prime Time. We get him weekly here as well on Hacker After Dark. Leon, Joshua Hines-Allen sets the all-time Jaguar sack mark, passing your former teammate and your friend Tony Brackens. I was just curious, you know, your thoughts on seeing Hines-Allen do that last Sunday.
Well, you want the truth? Hack the truth. Initially, I was pissed off. I'll be quite honest with you.
I know you and Brackens are buddies. Absolutely.
Brackens is my guy because Brackens, in my assessment, playing with him, because I'm partially biased, he's probably one of the most destructive defensive players that I've ever played with. I mean, his athleticism, his ability to rush the passer, strip fumble, and make plays on the backside, front side, running down running backs, running down wide receivers, quarterbacks. So, being a teammate of his, I initially wasn't happy that the record was broken. But if this organization is going to get to where we want it to get to, the ghost of the past have to be ghost. I'm just being honest with you. You need guys like him to break Bracken's records. You need guys like that to break Jimmy's record, and Keenan's, and the Brunels, and the Bosellis, and the Leon Searcy's, and the Fred Taylors. I mean, you need guys on this team that where you can draw an argument and say, man, he's just as good as such and such. He's just as good as Boselli and Searcy, just as good as Jimmy and Keenan. He's just as good as Fred Taylor, Mark Brunell. You need the ghosts of the past to be ghosts. So that's the only way this team is going to get better. You've got to be able to assemble a roster that rival what we did back in the day.
And to your credit, you've said that now for a couple of years. You don't want to be considered the best right tackle in franchise history anymore. You've had that moniker for almost a quarter century. You want to give that title up. And you're right. The young guys here, that's how the Jaguar organization will move forward, is if we start getting guys that maybe supplant some of the great players that we had in the late 90s and the early 2000s. All right, Leon, let's look forward now. You mentioned what Liam Cohen talked about. They play better when they're, quote, pissed off. And we know how well they respond to adversity, right? They have an A+. They're on the honor roll responding to adversity this year. The Jaguar problem is that when they're told how great they are for a week, they usually come out and they lay an egg, which is a concern because they've been told how great they are this week, and they're going to play lowly Arizona, who's lost 7 out of 8. How do they bottle up whatever that was on Sunday against the Chargers and take that with them out to the desert?
Well, they can't listen to the noise, and which is hard to do because, social media has a tendency to pat you on the back. Guys go, they go look at their likes, look at what people are saying, man. And human nature is that when you're feeling a little bit good, you want to go someplace to where you want to feel a little bit better. And just unfortunately, in this day of social media, these guys have got access to the fans applauding them, saying all that kind of stuff. I don't know what you do to keep guys from doing that because, that's their arena that they're in now. I can just tell you what I used to do. We didn't have social media, but I used to create references about teams. Let me just be honest. I used to lie about what teams said about me going into the week. So I could be angry. So I would make up stuff about teams, what teams were saying about me, or what players were saying about me, just to keep me on edge. I mean, especially after you win a game like this. Human nature says that when you win a game like this, you have a tendency to relax and feel comfortable. No, this team, in my assessment, needs to stay on edge. They need to absolutely stay on edge. Try to avoid all the outside noise. It's got to be Jacksonville against the world. And remember how everybody piled on them last week and played angry, pissed off like that. That's the only thing that I can assess that the team needs to do. But they got to look down the road. If you be honest, Hack, they've got the Cardinals, they've got the Titans, they got the Colts, and they got the Jets. You go 4-0, 3-1. If you go 4-0, the Colts have not played well here. You can legitimately go 4-0, and now you're in the playoffs. Yeah. 10 games in the playoffs. So the seriousness of the season is right before their eyes. The seriousness of the season is right before their eyes. You win the next 4. You go on a nice little 5-game win streak. You're sitting pretty somewhere in the 4, 5, 6 seed of the playoffs. So then we're not the 4, maybe the 5, 6, 7 seed in the playoffs, and you're sitting pretty right now. So the seriousness of the season is right before their eyes. Don't let it go.
Just to have the opportunity to play competitive football, meaningful football in November, to have the playoff conversation after losing 18 out of 23 prior to the arrival of Cohen and Gladstone speaks volumes to the job that they have done here in 2025. Leon, final question. It's the third time the Jaguars have gone out west. Now, they've only won 4 games in the Pacific time zone all time before this year. They already won out in San Francisco. They already won out in Las Vegas. They got to go out there a third time. Is that going to matter at all?
No, that's not going to matter because, I mean, we've had success in those 2 outings on the West Coast, so I'm sure that Liam Cohen and them have they have a routine because, you know, you've had success on the West. Because, you know, before going out to the West, you know, the narrative in Jacksonville is that we don't win out West. So we extinguish those narratives this season alone. So you might as well go ahead. I'm sure there's going to be a routine that they go through, that same routine that showed them the same success they had this season going out West against the 49ers and the Las Vegas Raiders.
Former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Leon Searcy. You hear him every day on Primetime. You get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark, and you'll get Leon Sunday night, 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Cardinals go final, with myself and the coach Gerald Ingram for the 5th quarter. Leon, have a terrific couple of days. I will see you Sunday night, my friend.
You got it, bro.
1010XL brings the swamp to the First Coast.
Guns it for the end zone. Intercepted!
Rocky Top makes a stop in the swamp.
Touchdown Gators!
Florida, Tennessee, Saturday at 7:30 on Jacksonville's home of Florida Gators football. 1010XL.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentist and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental with light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, located in Bartram Park.
I know 2 brothers whose minds are always in the gutters.
Hi, I'm Tim.
And I'm Kevin.
We are the Good Brothers.
That's good with an E.
From Good Brothers Roofs and Gutters.
We install 6 and 7-inch seamless gutters, plus we repair and replace roofs, pool enclosures, and super gutters.
We are the Good Brothers, veteran-owned and local.
Visit goodbrothersroofsandgutters.com.
License number CCC 1334384.
Good Brothers Roofs and Gutters.
Greenlaw Group is for the insured. If you think you have roof damage, call 904-302-7055 today, and they will schedule you a free roof inspection. Trust their law firm to help you fight your insurance when you need it. These storms can cause damage you may not even see yet. Call Greenlaw Group 302-7055. There's no cost to retain their law firm and no cost to have your roof inspected. They only get paid if you win. Greenlaw Group, for the insured.
Expert Automotive on St. John's Bluff Road has some of the highest Google reviews in Jax for a reason. Expert Auto never sells greed, only what you need. All makes and models are serviced at Expert Automotive. This month, get an alignment inspection for only $19.99. Expert Auto does major engine and transmission repair and simple maintenance. All services done at Expert Auto by our ASC certified training technicians. Call today, 374-3373, and ask about $50 off any service. Expert Automotive. We never sell greed, only what you need.
Waiting around for Black Friday? At Beaver Toyota, Beaver Chevrolet, and Beaver Mitsubishi, we've already dropped Black Friday prices. That's right, thousands of vehicles priced to move now. Get 0 down, no payments for 90 days, plus peace of mind with a lifetime warranty. Don't wait for the crowds. Get your Black Friday deal today. Start saving early with Beaver Toyota, Beaver Chevrolet, and Beaver Mitsubishi, where Black Friday starts right now. That'll wow ya.
Julington Creek Pest Control has been serving our community since 1984. Our turf management program is an all-out blitz, granular fertilization, weed and insect control, keeping your lawn championship green all year. Quarterly pest control stops bugs before they ever cross your goal line. Family owned, locally operated, expert technicians, top quality products, no gimmicks, just winning results. Julington Creek Pest Control, our family serving yours. since 1984.
Experience Pink Floyd. Floyd Nation. November 21st at Florida Theater. Floyd Nation. Floyd Nation. Experience Pink Floyd. Tickets on sale now at floridatheater.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Florida State now 5-5 after a win over Virginia Tech last week. A couple of road games to end their season, North Carolina State and then Florida. Do these last two games matter as far as the future of Mike Norvell? Let's talk about that. Let's also talk a little Liam Cohen, and we'll do that with my guy Logan Robinson. He is the owner and the founder of both Nole Game Day in the college ranks and Bucks Game Day in the NFL, and Logan's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Logan, how we doing, man?
Doing good, Ryan. Nearing the end, like you said, of Florida State's season, and the Bucks right now trying to get back on a winning streak after a rough loss to the Bills on the road. So a lot of things going on near the middle part of this November.
Yeah, Thanksgiving on the horizon. And look, as far as Florida State goes, let's begin there. A win over Virginia Tech. They've actually played decently at home this year. I want to say they lost to Pitt at home, and they obviously lost to Miami at home. They've done reasonably well in Tallahassee. They've just been really bad away from Tallahassee, which is where they will end their season, both Raleigh with the Wolfpack and then, of course, going to Gainesville to play the Gators. Logan, what, if anything, did that win over Virginia Tech last week do for the status of Mike Norvell?
Well, looking at the fan base, I think everybody's all questioning, do you want Florida State to keep winning? Because if that happens, then you're looking at Mike Norvell staying in 2026 most likely. And then if you lose at home to a really bad, not great Virginia Tech team, then you also are all up in arms, the fan base would be. So it's a weird situation that the fans are in all across Tallahassee and the state. Now, to me, like I just had mentioned, Virginia Tech's not a great football team. You were supposed to win that game and win well, and they did that by 20 points, absolutely. But it wasn't the prettiest game. It was a sloppy one. Mike Norvell talked to us today and told us, there was a lot of missed opportunities in that one, and sure enough, there was, and it was a slow start once again for FSU. And yes, they played well at home for the most part, but when they go on the road, that is where the big question marks still are surrounding Mike Norvell and this team, because for some reason they don't show up, and it doesn't seem like they're really prepared as well to be able to withstand the atmosphere, the ecosystem of another stadium. It's very weird with how this team kind of reacts to situations and responds, which Mike Norvell presses a whole ton of. How do you respond? And it's something that this team struggles in immensely, not even this year, but also to last year. And if you think about it, throughout the tenure of Mike Norvell at Florida State, it's something that no matter what, if they want to become bowl eligible, there's only 2 games left, and guess what? They're on the road, Ryan.
Logan Robinson, the owner and the founder of Nole Game Day. Logan, do you think these last 2 games are going to matter as far as the decision makers, or has the decision been made one way or the other, and these last 2 games won't sway that?
Well, I'm contemplating what I think the administration is trying to do here, because I think after the Stanford game, they had to put out a statement there because the fan base was just not happy at all, as they should have been. You could go on the road here. NC State has always played Florida State on the road. It's a Friday night game as well. And then, of course, you go into the Swamp, which is now going to be an afternoon kickoff to end off the season in 2 weeks. If you go 0-2 in that, I do think there is a lot of pressure being put on this administration of, hey, how invested are you actually into this football program? Because we're going to see some moves here in the coming days, potentially with Virginia Tech. There's a lot of smoke, a lot of chatter about James Franklin, and that would have been probably one of your top candidates. I think there would have been some interest from Franklin and his team potentially becoming, at least the next head coach at Florida State. Now the Seminoles are putting themselves in a pretty tough situation. Obviously, the buyout money is the biggest issue, but then too, the coaching vacancies with all these top tier programs across the country has also put them in a tough hold, because a lot of these programs, they can't compete with money wise, and unless they get someone a big time booster like one of their billionaire alumni, Blakely, who has created Spanx, and she just recently visited the Wake Forest game. They're trying to get involved with her. Just FSU though, that's not going to happen right away, and who knows if that would ever become something of a relationship that they'd be able to help them monetarily. It's a tough situation, Ryan, that I think this administration has certainly put themselves into. And I honestly don't think, if you don't win a game these next two games, I don't know how you're going to get anybody into the stands in Doak Campbell Stadium in 2026.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. You led me right there. I mean, if Norvell comes back, heck, even if they win the last two games, I don't think people are going to be excited about him coming back, at least the ones that I know that are Seminole alumni. How do you sell that to this fan base? How do you get them fired up and juiced up for 2026 for another year of Mike Norvell?
Well, that's probably would have to start with retaining a lot of those young players that have shined for you. Even, you could try to go and talk into guys like Deuce Robinson, who has been a stellar wide receiver for you, your star player on this team. Maybe some other guys like a Jabril Rawls, who, just got some news today that he'd be out for the remainder of the season, but he was your star defensive player as well. And you've got a lot of true freshmen like Usman Kroma, who was a stud. Who is a stud at the running back position, also to Mandrell Basir at the defensive end position. A lot of retaining is going to be key for FSU, and that would maybe help a little bit of the excitement, but you're still going to bring back a majority of that staff unless something happens where another team wants to go after some of their position coaches, and that could happen, but I think it would be more of where Florida State would have to make moves potentially in a few position departments with some of their position coaches to help. But overall, I mean, you're kind of going back to what you had last year, Ryan. You went 2-10, and there wasn't much of excitement going on this entire offseason until you saw Tommy Castellanos start chirping a little bit, having a lot of confidence, saying that they were going to beat Alabama, which they ended up doing. But there was not really a whole ton of crazy interest or expectations of Florida State going into this 2025 season. And I think that the fan base now is just kind of over it. They've been over it, and they know how embarrassing a lot of these losses were this season. Certainly that Stanford game. I mean, that was just an atrocious play. And that all comes down to the head coach. And I don't know. You have to have some crazy marketing. I have to have a crazy marketing team and try to figure out a way to get people in those stands. And you just fully renovated Doak Campbell Stadium. Like, you're trying to get people into those seats, into those big time box suites as well. Along with, too, you just open a football only facility. And that's just the beginning of trying to win over the fan base. What are you going to have to do to be able to combat the recruiting, the transfer portal, NIL? There's a lot of things that just continue to roll on from Mike going into next year.
Logan, final Florida State-related question, then I want to end with a Liam Cohen thought or two. We don't know if it's going to happen, Lane Kiffin to Florida, but that's at least the smoke right now in Gainesville. What is the thought in Florida State circles if your arch rival were to land Lane Kiffin?
Oh, man. I mean, going back to whenever, Florida State was looking for the next head coach, move on from Willie Taggart, I was highly intrigued by Lane Kiffin. I thought he was a very good coach. He at that time came with a lot of baggage. There were some immaturity things that he had to figure out off the field, some things there, but I knew, he's a good coach. He was very competitive. He was able to help and recruiting and develop. And so, Ole Miss took that shot with him, and, you've been able to see the success that they've had. And, Mike Norvell and Lane Kiffin were one of the first few coaches that really got down that transfer portal game. And the fact that, if that is, if it comes to fruition where you see Lane Kiffin in Florida, I think that's the worst. That's the worst nightmare that Florida State wants to have and the fans do in Tallahassee, just because of what he's been able to do at Ole Miss. Now, Ole Miss did put a lot of resources behind Lane Kiffin, but Florida can do that same, certainly too, if they have a good coach that is able to put things together, develop a quarterback, which, DJ Lagway has not been able to do what this team expected him to do. But I think that just comes down to a lot of the coaching situations. And two, you're working with the interim head coach for the remainder of the season. Billy Napier couldn't do anything there. It's just would not be the best scenario whatsoever for Florida State in their case to have, Lane Kiffin in Gainesville, and we'll see what ends up happening there. But, Lane's gonna tease a lot of things. You just don't want to see that happen for Florida State. Certainly, this would just be definitely if you have Mike Norvell going into 2026, Lane Kiffin's at UF, and the recruiting would just be it would not be easy. Certainly in the transfer portal as well.
Final moments, Logan Robinson. He's not only the owner and the founder of Knoll Game Day in college, also Bucks Game Day in the National Football League. Logan, not to talk about Tampa necessarily, but Liam Cohen, who was down there last year as the offensive coordinator. And I'm just curious, when you covered him last year, we're honestly still getting to know Liam Cohen a little bit. But I got to tell you, man, that guy is going to have rock star status here in Jacksonville in a pretty short amount of time. His demeanor, what he's done in coming in and changing this organization, the blown lead in Houston, where a lot of teams might fold in Jaguars past. They come out this past weekend and absolutely boat race the Chargers, 35-6. Cohen was in his bag with his plays and just the way that he talks to the media, addresses the fans, just everything about Liam Cohen, I think is top-notch, quite frankly. It's a nice change from what we're used to here. And I'm just curious, in the year you covered him in Tampa, if you saw what we see now, a guy that could potentially be a very good head coach.
Well, we saw it in training camp and his first season, practically the only season, but we saw how well he got along with the players. Now, he already had a close connection with Baker Mayfield, and having that past relationship with the Rams actually really tied Liam Cohen coming into Tampa. So that didn't come too much of a shock. But then as the season went through, you could see the relationships that he had built with the team, and he also understood his personnel the best. That's something that I think the Bucs are struggling with right now in itself with first-year offensive coordinator Josh Lazard. Being able to adjust and understand your strengths and weaknesses from player to player is extremely important, certainly in the NFL, because you are going to have injuries. Guys are going to be limited as well. Injuries are going to count up. And so that's something I think Liam Cohen did a really good job of last year, and getting that run game going on a consistent basis is something that he is always able to do. But I think for the Jaguars, it was all coming down to Trevor Lawrence and the success that you could have there. I know you're without Travis Hunter for the remainder of the season. Guess what? You got to adjust. You got to see what fits best and how to make sure that you're calling plays at a high level on a drive scenario. And that's something Liam Cohen is able to do. But I think it just comes down to what he's able to do. Players, I feel like a lot of them really do enjoy having him around in the locker room, watching film and everything. At least that's what we heard when we were down here in Tampa. And definitely, certainly, too, he's very competitive. I mean, you could see that certainly on the sideline, also, too, in the situations this season, going back to some of the coaches after games. He's a fiery guy, and I think players tag on to that quite a bit.
Logan, we got about 60 seconds. Kind of a same question about Robert Hainsey. Now, you covered him for 4 years in Tampa. I know he lost his job to Graham Barton last year down there. I hope Barton's playing at a Pro Bowl level for you guys, because Robert Hainsey has been amazing here. He's a team captain. He's the anchor of that offensive line. There was one play against the Chargers where he literally drove a defensive tackle about 10 yards off the ball and then finished off with a pancake on a Travis Etienne touchdown on Sunday. The Jaguars are very thankful that Robert Hainsey lost his job in Tampa, because as a result of that, they probably have their starting center now for quite some time.
Yeah, and Robert Hainsey was never specifically supposed to be a starting center for the Bucs. Ryan Jensen went through that injury, suffered that, and ended up being a career-ending injury. And the Bucs had to figure out what they want to do at the center position, which is really important, of course, at the level of football that is being played now. To me, the interesting part, yes, you replace Hainsey with a big-time pick with Graham Barton. Now, I have to say, when you're bringing up the Pro Bowl thing, that's not going to be headed in the direction for Graham Barton in this season, because It's not been so pretty this year. Has not been the season that I think the Bucks wanted. He had a strong start last year, had some rookie moments, but the thing was, this year it's just not been so great. Robert Hainsey, though, I think he brings a lot of leadership to the table as well, a ton of experience as well, and it's been great to hear Hainsey. He was very well liked across the media as well as you guys are seeing now. And of course, I think that's what Liam Cohen noticed whenever he was with the Bucks, and there's a reason why Hainsey followed him into Jacksonville. And the fact that he's playing at the level that he is says a lot about him. But I think too the garnered respect that his teammates have for him is what is making him play the way that he is right now, and helping out too Trevor Lawrence, which is great to see as well.
Logan Robinson, the owner and the founder of Bucks Game Day and, of course, Knoll Game Day. And Seminole fans, we encourage you to go check out Knoll Game Day for all the latest with Florida State athletics. Logan, I know you're busy. Thank you for the time. If I don't talk to you beforehand, have a happy Thanksgiving, my friend.
Thank you, Ryan. You as well.
And thank you to Logan Robinson, the owner and the founder of Knoll Game Day and Bucks Game Day, for joining us tonight here on Hacker After Dark, as we've been so caught up in the Florida Gator Lane Kiffin situation that we might have some clarity with Florida State and Mike Norvell pretty soon. Again, 5-5, 2 games to go. They actually play North Carolina State on Friday. And then, of course, they end at Florida. And we'll see. I mean, if you lose the next 2, probably Norvell is gone. If you win the next 2, Norvell probably remains. 1-1, I don't know. I'm tending to believe, though, that Mike Norvell will be back in Tallahassee in 2026, which I'm not sure makes Florida State fans very happy, but I think that is probably where I'm leaning right now if you had to pin me down on Mike Norvell's status heading in to the next college football season. So we certainly spent some time on that. Spent some time on the Lane Kiffin, Florida, LSU, Ole Miss situation, and a lot of time on the Jaguars. Obviously, they returned back to work earlier today down at the Miller Electric Center in preparation for a trip to Arizona to take on the Arizona Cardinals. I was down there in the Jaguar locker room earlier today. A confident group, man. There is no doubt. They are a confident group. And they're excited to be playing meaningful football here as we approach Thanksgiving. The Jaguars 6-4, right in the thick of it in the AFC wild card, and pretty much in the thick of it in the AFC South as well, sitting 2 games back of Indianapolis with 7 games to go in the NFL regular season. Well, that will just about do it, man. Very, very busy Wednesday night edition of Hacker After Dark. We certainly appreciate you guys hanging out with us here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. We have a ton of people to thank. Again, Logan Robinson, the owner and the founder of Knoll Game Day. Thank you to Leon Searcy, former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars. You hear him every day on XL Primetime. We get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Also, thank you to my buddy Matt Hayes. Matt is one of the best college football writers in America, has been so for quite some time. You hear him every day on Primetime. You also read his terrific work over there at the USA Today. Down in the Jaguar locker room earlier today as well, I had the opportunity to go one-on-one with both offensive lineman Ezra Cleveland and defensive lineman B.J. Green, and certainly thank both Ezra and B.J. for joining me here tonight on Hacker After Dark. Now, we will be back tomorrow night on a Thursday, and we will do